It doesn't matter how much you have to do if you don't have the time to do it. And this is one of the reasons why trying to manage your tasks by task management is going to fail. You cannot do it because tasks by their very nature are more than likely unknown to you because they're just coming at you constantly. They come at you through email, through messages, through phone calls, through colleagues just tapping you on the shoulder as you're in the office. I mean, you could open up your email this morning and you could have a major crisis happening in your Middle East office. It's just not a good way to try and manage all the things that you have to do. But there is one tool that you can use that will give you at least one constant, and that is time, and the tool is your calendar. And today I want to return to the calendar to show you how you can get a better grip of your time, i.e. time management, and also to be able to fit in all those things that you have to do based on really how much time you have available. So let's get started. Okay, so what we have here is my calendar. Now this is roughly based on my real week. I don't want to put my real coaching client names in there, so I'm just calling it coaching calls. Now, for the purposes of this particular video, I really want you to think of my coaching calls as meetings, because I know not all of you are coaches out there or that you help people to become better organized and more productive. So what we have here is for me, what would be a typical week. Now, a few caveats here. Because of the time zone that I live in the Far East, so I live in South Korea. I tend to take the afternoons off. So my afternoons are really what your evenings would be. So as you can see, there's a lot of blue here, and blue indicates personal. It's my personal life. I have my meetings or coaching calls are put in purple because I want to be able to see how many meetings I have. I don't want to be late for a meeting. It's not very good for somebody who teaches time management and productivity if we're late for meetings. My work-related stuff are in orange, and I tend to put my meal times in green. Now, I do intermittent fasting, so I generally only eat twice a day, and that works for me. It doesn't necessarily have to work for you, but it works for me. And yes, pretty much I do tend to work 7 days a week, but that's simply because I run my own business, and when you do that, when you make that decision, you have to give up the 9 till 5. Well, you don't have to, but I chose to do so. So, caveats out the way. So what I've got here is the first thing I am going to tell you to do is remove any conflict. So if you look here, I've got a conflict here, I've got a conflict there, and I've got a conflict down here. Now I cannot be in two places at once. Now the first one here, the meeting with Sir Tim Havelock, this one is not too bad because I have a writing time block there, which as you can see here, I can move to between 12 and 2 p.m. So that wouldn't necessarily be a problem. So what I would do in this instance, I would just move that one because that means that I don't have to contact Sir Tim and ask him if I can rearrange our meeting. So I can move my time block around. Now this is a time block here. For me, it's writing simply because that's part of a lot of what I do. I do a lot of writing because I am an author. Now, a published author now. So that one's in there. A writing time is moved to 12 till 2. So I've got my writing time in, and that's pretty much my morning sorted out. So I get a nice little break here to deal with any emergencies. Hi, it's Carl. I just want to let you know that if you are struggling with your productivity or time management, then I have a free course, and I mean completely free, course based around the absolute fundamental basics of productivity and time management whilst using digital tools, or indeed paper. The course is called COD, or Collect, Organize and Do. And if you really want to start the process of getting yourself organized, or even if you've already been trying for many, many years to find the right system, then it's all going to start with COD, Collecting, Organizing and Doing. And there's a link in the show notes below. Take the course. It's not going to cost you anything, and I'm sure that it's going to help you to start building the processes and the structure and the system that you need in order to become better organized and more productive. Thanks for watching this brief video. Now down here, I've got a bigger problem because I've got coaching calls or meetings, and I've got a meeting here with, let's just have a click on that, Mr. Aris Christatos. So now with that one, I do have a problem because this is going to overlap into my coaching calls. So what am I going to do with this? Well, in this particular case, I'm going to have to create a task to reach out to Aris and ask him if we can reschedule our meeting. So what I'm going to do though is I'm not just going to say, can we reschedule our meeting? Because that's not really helpful. What I've noticed here is I've got a 5 p.m. slot here, which I could theoretically do the meeting, or I've got an 11 p.m. slot here where I could do the meeting. So there's a few things that I can do when I contact Aris. Now let's just say I have contacted Aris and he says, okay, 5 p.m. is fine, so I can move that to there. And now my day here is organized. Now, you would probably do this when you do the weekly planning. You would just have a look at your calendar and you would see, do I have any conflicts? And I can see here that now Monday is fine. I've got plenty of gaps because that's something else you want to be looking for is, do you have any gaps in your day where you can deal with any of all those unknown tasks, unknown emergencies that are going to come in. So if you look here, I've got 90 minutes at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. 10:30 a.m. And I've got 4 till 5 where I could do it. And if I really needed to, because I go to bed at 1:30 in the morning, so I'm a night owl. So I've got another hour between 11 and midnight if I need it. And again, please let me stress, your evening time where you would rest and not work is what I do in the afternoons. As you can see, a lot of blue in the afternoons and a lot of orange in the evening. So I split my days. Now, looking at Tuesday, we're looking okay. It's a bit squeezed, but my family time could just be sitting on the sofa talking to my wife, or we could take Louis, our dog, out for a walk somewhere, go on an adventure, or we might go out for lunch. So I keep Tuesday afternoons completely free for dealing with, for doing family activities. And we're pretty flexible on what we do with that. Now, going into Wednesday, I can see I've got a TBC, a to be confirmed meeting with Bill Tanner. Now, I've put that in grey because that's my colour for to be confirmed, because it doesn't really impact the colour of my task. But I do, again, I've got a meeting here with Milos Colombo, and I also have my project time at 9:30. Now, in this particular case, I'm looking at this thinking, well, the meeting with Colombo is going to be very important because it's a collaboration or something. Do I really need that project time this week? Now, I try not to have too many projects. So that project time, what I probably do in this particular example, just to give me some breathing room in the day, is I would just delete that particular one. So that particular project time has gone. Remember, I've still got my focus time here, 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 and here. So I know I've still got 8 hours of focus time in the week if I need it. So it's not a big deal if I'm deleting the project time. So that's my week now sorted out. It's in place and everything is looking neat and tight. This here, this meeting with Bill Tanner, that might mean that I need to just get in touch with Bill and say, are we having this meeting or not? That could become a task that I need to do at some point, maybe on Tuesday or Monday, just to confirm. So that would be creating a task. But now my week is looking clean, it's looking tight. I've got all the conflicts sorted out. Now, going back up here, we've got what I would call my all day section. Now the all day section is interesting because this is where you can put all those like little things that you don't actually need to do, but you just need to be aware of. So for instance, I put all my publication date, the content I create. So you've got my podcast, I've got my LinkedIn newsletter, my blog post, and all the other things are in there. YouTube video and weekly newsletter. I've also got in here my rugby team's Leeds Rhinos, by the way. I'm a Leeds Rhino, so you can probably see in silhouette there, Ronnie, the Rhino. But we've got here a game between with Warrington Wolves that day, so that's in my calendar, so I know it's there. I've also got RK is code that I use for my wife. She's in Seoul all day on Saturday, so I need to be aware of that. I've also got my dog is at the groomers on Tuesday the 9th, so that's also in. I don't need to take him there, my wife is taking him, but I do need to be aware of it, so that's on my list. And also I put my credit card payment dates and stuff like that. That's all going to go in there so that we've got everything I need to know is now in my calendar, and I'm going to see that when I do my daily planning. So if we go into like the day view, now I can check on Wednesday, this keeps coming up, but we'll just delete that. Wednesday is looking fine. If I just go back to Tuesday, that's looking fine. Go to Monday, yep, there's no conflicts. And that's what I'm always looking at. When I do my weekly planning, I'm looking for the conflicts, and it's all comes in here. So we can go through this and make sure there's no conflicts in my calendar, and then I can switch. As you can see, you can switch the views in Apple Calendar up at the top here. So I just tap on week and I can go back there, and everything's now. That's it. That's my calendar, nicely organized and ready to go. I can challenge or tackle the week, no problem there. One final thing I should point out is make sure that you keep some of these gaps in your day wherever possible. It's not always possible, but these gaps here are where you can actually get hold of any of those unknown tasks, the tasks that you don't know about yet, but you know they're going to come. So they're coming in all the time. Now, one thing I should point out is I always allocate an hour for my communication time and admin time. I put that in pretty much every single day. You can see it comes up pretty much at 7 p.m. every evening for me, but for sometimes I obviously have to change it when I'm editing these videos, and so they're generally always in here. I usually try and do this on a weekend as well, so there's going to be at some point on a weekend I can just move in the communication time usually to just after dinner. And I'm going to do an admin time again just after dinner. Put it in just move that there, and that puts my calendar. So I've got that. I generally don't do it on a Saturday because I've got a big admin block on a Saturday morning when I do the weekly planning. And there you go. That is my week planned. Now, the great thing about this and how this goes with my task manager is I know in Todoist, I know that when I come at 12 o'clock on Monday, that, okay, it's writing time. I just look at my writing tasks in Todoist and say, right, these are the ones that I'm going to do. And that's pretty much everything that I do. I've also got here my, I've got focus time here, which is kind of open just to catch up with anything that may or may not need to be done on the end of the week. And there you go. That's it. That's just my calendar all organized and ready to go. My week is looking organized. Of course, things are going to change. Things are going to move around. But because I do that daily planning session, I can just make sure that my calendar still doesn't have any conflicts. And that's important. The biggest thing is where you've got conflicts, because you cannot be in two places at once. You get those resolved and now you've got a day. And when you see your calendar like this, you can confidently tell people, I'm sorry, I'm not available on that particular day, but I could do another day. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching this episode. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the two-step process that I have for managing my calendar, then this video up here will be the video to watch next.